Hi, my name is Teresa Scudder, and I'm the founder of Kingdom Women Enterprise, and this is Get Intimate with KWE. Today is our first Zoom interview that we're going to have, and we are having it with Leah Hill. She is in the marketing business. She takes your small business and make it superb.
Yeah, she's like the ultimate business strategist. So you must check her out. She's an awesome woman of God. You're absolutely going to love her.
And make sure when you see this interview that you share it, you click on it, you subscribe to it. Make sure you click on her Facebook page, her Instagram, her Pinterest, all of her sites, and just check her out, and you tell a friend about it as well. All right, so I asked you to be on KWE, Getting Intimate with KWE, is because I didn't hear your whole interview that you did with your husband on his Facebook Live, but I just like the energy y'all was giving, and I have seen you, and I have seen
chemistry,
right. You can't duplicate that, right? But I also I seen you on Instagram and I seen your Facebook stuff, but I don't know the full detail what your business is like. You know, Kingdom Women Enterprise, we do support small business women, small business owners, and that's what we are all about: promoting them, getting them out there, helping them promote themselves. That's what we all about. So when I seen you, and I was like, "That's my girl right there." So I definitely got to get her on with us. So, so I just want to put you out here and let's talk about your business.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to come on.
So tell me, now, what is the name of your business?
So I actually started my business as most women do. I won't even say most women. I think men might do it as well, where we hide behind our business name instead of being in front of it and owning it and saying, I'm being empowered by being in front or being the face of our business. And so I had a different business name, and it was a lot easier to move in that sense, where I could move behind the scenes and post and work, and I wasn't the face of it. And then it came to the point where one of my mentors, one of my coaches was like, no, what are you doing? You need to be the name, make it a personal brand, and you need to be the face of your business. If it's not a shortcoming, or if it's not going to be like a short time hobby or some sort, then you need to make it official. And so I did. So it's leahhall.co. And so my website is leahhall.co, and then I'm everywhere under leahhall.co as well.
Now, what is it that your business do?
So I help women entrepreneurs who have a hobby or are hobbyists or have a business, and they want to grow their business or they want to monetize their niche. And so my tagline is from hobbyist to niche brand owner. And so what I do is I help women entrepreneurs narrow their focus. I think a lot of time as women, we already wear so many fascinators, right? Like we always have, and we're not changing our fascinators, we're changing our shoes, our heels, because we move quickly, we think quickly, we do so much. We can probably do many things on autopilot and not even realize we've done them. Yeah. But in that, it's a strength and it's a weakness. And so when we think about juggling so many different things, so many different businesses or ideas or tasks at one time, it really takes us 2, 3, 4 times longer if we ever even get it to completion, right? Because we are stopping and starting, stopping and starting. And if we were driving a car, we would never get to our destination. So my focus is my main intensive or mastermind program, whatever people want to call it, is branding with focus. And it's follow one cause until successful. And so it's an acronym for that, because when you work with me, we're working on one house at a time, right? We're building that foundation, we're building the walls, we're picking out the paint colors, the roof, what does the turf look like? Like we're doing all of that because we don't want to build a house that's not strong, that doesn't have a foundation, that does not have proper, a place where we can come and enjoy and have a home, right? We want to make these 4 walls our home. And so when we think about that in our business, we want to focus on one task, one one baby, right? Like one business child that we birth out. And then we have the opportunity to go and adopt some more. You know, in essence, like we have our first foundation, we have our walls and everything set in stone. Then once we know that that is a good uh, working system, it's nicely oiled, it's moving, and it's bringing us in money while we're sleeping, then we can go and start building the guest quarters. And so I think as women, we know we can do it. Like we know we can manage 18,000 things, but is it the best way to do it? And so my business, or my main goal for starting my business, was to help other women leave their 9 to 5 and be settled in building their own foundation so that they don't have to depend on this 9 to 5, right? Like they don't have to do that. Make their own check, break their own ceiling, like define what their legacy is going to look like without it being told to them. And so Branding with Focus, leahhall.co, is all about helping women take that one heart's desire, whatever it might be. She can be, I want to bake cakes. Well, then we're going to figure out how to ship your cakes international, right? Like we're going to figure that out. And so whatever that heart's desire is, my business is to get in your business and then to help you define what that looks like, help you lay the plan, help you work on your messaging, help you define what your branding colors look like. When people go to your website, are they alarmed, or are they feeling like, ooh, I could go here and just stay on this website all day because there's so many intricate details. So in short, that's what I do.
Okay, so pretty much you are the business organizer. Pretty much that's what you kind of helping them do, organize their business for them.
So more so a strategist. I take them through the process of really defining what it is that you want to do. Because a lot of people come in like, oh, I'm multi-passionate. Okay, what does that mean? You have 50 things that you like to do, but which one is going to be your breadwinner? That breadwinner, we're going to build that foundation. We're going to build the walls, paint it, make it very nice. Have your welcome messaging mat. What does your welcome mat look like? If you're to come to someone's home, what is it? What is that welcome, right? We go through all that. So it's a strategy of putting the entire plan together, and then it's implementation. And we're executing that in the marketplace, online marketplace. So your social media, your website, webinars, whatever you're doing, that's where we're going with that.
Okay, so it's kind of pretty much like we do as well at Kingdom Women Enterprise. We kind of do that in a way as well, as far as promotional wise and getting websites up and getting your logo going for you. That's what we do too, on top of before Corona came out and stopped a lot of stuff. We had, we was doing events. So that's what we do. We'll get all the small women businesses that we know, we'll get them together, they get a table, they run out a table and promote their business at the event. So that's what we were doing when we first started out. And then the coronavirus kind of like stopped us. So now we do a lot of in-home stuff now where I'll have in-house, we'll do it here and we do the podcast and, then we post it with YouTube and everything else. And so we'll get it out that way too, being that now everything is social distancing. So hopefully before 2021, we can get back out there.
I absolutely love what you do, because a lot of people, when they start a business, they're just like, I want to start a business, but then they don't think about all the things that you need to plan for before starting your business. That was a struggle that I had with her. So she's just like, I have an idea. I want to start this business. I'm like, well, do you have a business plan? Do you know how you want to target it? What is the purpose behind your business? Who's going to be your audience and things like that. So I think what you do is awesome, because what it does, it helps prevent what do we call it? Like business exit, because there's a lot of startups, but then they exit. So most businesses, they say, don't even last within like the first year, because people don't take in consideration the cost and everything it was going to take to start out their business, you know, I definitely understand, because I couldn't get with someone telling me that an hour of my time is worth $15. You know, but I could do it an hour of my life, my own dreams and plans, and I'm up here spending this hour building up your business or whatever the case might be, and you're gonna tell me that was only worth $15?
Right.
Yeah, off my 1 hour, you made like $1 billion. So,
some of it's $12.50. So,
Exactly.
Yeah. So I do too. I love what you do too, and and you always been like so nice and sweet. And like, you know, because I started Kingdom Women Enterprise because I was selling the jewelry for paparazzi, which I still kind of do, but my main focus is Kingdom Women Enterprise because that's what God placed in me. Kingdom Women Enterprise. I started doing the paparazzi because of one of the other ladies from the church was like, "Oh, you should sell it. Come on, you should do it." And I was like, "Well, I like jewelry, and it wasn't that expensive." So I was like, "Okay," and I do it. And when I first started selling, I sold out all my jewelry, my first sale, my second sale before. So I was like, "Okay, yeah, I can do this." But then the Lord had placed, but then I seen other women that was, that also was doing paparazzi, was doing Herbalife, It Works, and all these other little businesses. Some make their own jewelry, and some people was doing their own stuff. And I was like, you know what? I was like, we got to do something about this. And so the Lord gave me Kingdom Women Enterprise, and I kind of sat on it for a little while because I was trying to push the paparazzi thing for a little bit. So I sat on it, and then another lady from the church, also Shirley Smith, she was like, "Teresa, 2020, we got to get our business up and going." And I was like, "You know what, girl, you're right." But my thought wasn't about paparazzi. My thought was Kingdom Women Enterprise and helping promote other women, promote their business. And that's what, because for me, I love throwing a party. So that was a thing for me anyway. I love throwing a party. I love feeding people anyway. Come on, let's eat. We get together, let's eat. And like my first event I did back in February and everything, the whole thing was free. We have food, we have music, everybody came in, women came and they set up their own tables. I didn't charge anything, everything was free because it was my first event and I just wanted everybody just to see what Kingdom Women Enterprise is about. And I like the fact that, it is Christian based because everybody that's on the board is born again believers, believe in Christ and everything else like that. So that was the main thing for me as well. But I love what you do. I really do. I love the fact you're getting out there, and I will be more than happy if I know people that need to get themselves together and get it organized and don't have it. I would definitely let them know about you.
Thank you.
And I will post all your information up and everything else, and because I really do, I really love what you do. I like the way you're putting it together. Now I know I was watching you and Marcus on his live thing, and so I remember he was asking you about prices and stuff, and he had me cracking up, but he was like, so you do have a set price, correct?
I do. So I work with clients for 6 months at a time, and it's really because when you're getting started, a lot of times people come in with like, "Oh, this is what I want to do." Right. And then when we go through the process and we identify, well, your who, what, when, where, and why, like, why do you want to serve in this capacity? And I think that's another thing you brought up is that even in what you were doing or for your first event, you did it for free, right? Because it's heartfelt. It's not about the money. And when people start out and they're like, "Oh, I got into business because I want to make money," they're not going to get there because that's the wrong mindset. And so a really big part of all of this, of being an entrepreneur, is having the right mindset of, why are you doing this? Who do you want to serve? And like thinking long term. And so I start out with 6 months at a time because I want my clients to know, like, it's not, I work for you, you work, it's not that, it's a partnership, right? Like the hardest thing in getting started in a business is getting started in a business. And so for me, it's that partnership of saying, hey, you're making an investment. And like your daughter was saying, it's not an, oh, I think you're worth this amount of money. So it's not even about the hourly, it's about the full spectrum of what you are getting and what you can provide. So even when you start selling your tickets for your next event, like don't cap yourself on what you should charge. Let them know that like you're making an investment in yourself, an investment in the Black community, an investment in small business owners, in a woman owned. So there's so many positives into why we charge what we charge. But in short, yes, I do have a package, but I also include websites in mine. And so it's two different price points depending on if they want a packet, if they want a website or not. But I also break it down into payment plans. And like I was telling them yesterday on the podcast that like sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, why did I do that? But it's so not about the money. It's about if I can see other women win, if I can see other women leave that 9 to 5 job and not have to have that burden of, oh my God, my boss doesn't like me. Oh, I know I'm qualified for this position. And then we get pushed over or passed over. Yes. Right. And it's like, why? Like, why put yourself in that situation? You know? So again, it's not even so much about we can't do it. We just have to find a way to do it. So yes, I do have 2 separate packages that I offer to work with me in short, but yes.
And it's all on your website page. Is the package on your website page, or that's something y'all talk about person to person?
I do person to person because I take them through the full process. So I have an application process. And it's something for people to think about. Like we get out here and we want to do business. And sometimes as women, some of us, it just goes back into like our personality styles and types and whatnot. But there's a possibility where like you think with your head, and that's how you decide on you make your decisions, or you think with your heart. So you are emotionally led, right? So it's either fact-based or emotional. And so sometimes if you get the right person and it's emotional, people will take advantage of you, right? Like they'll they'll take advantage of you. And so it's a process. It's like, for me, it became an application because I wanted to work with the right type of women. I wanted to work with women, and I still do, that are committed, not saying they're committed to me, but they're committed to themselves. They're committed to their business, and they are willing to do what it takes. I mean, they're not walking on off of ledges and anything crazy, but it's time. It's changing the way that we look at our business. It's our mindset. It's being intentional about self-care. And so for me, I could just simply put my prices out there and people price shop or whatever from website to website to see, oh, can I get the cheapest price, but expect, the Taj Mahal. So it's so it's all a strategic approach. And it's not to say like, oh, I'm too good to have my prices out there. It's not that, but I want to work with the right women. And I would say that to anyone who wants to do business, who wants their business to be successful, set yourself up for success. If you have prices, one thing you can do is you can have an application process so that people can apply with you and you can kind of fill them out. What are they here for? Are they only price shopping? I've had a lot of men in particular who have scheduled consultations with me to see what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and then what I charge. And so there's no weight in what they really want, in the sense of like, oh, I really want your help. It's the weight of, oh, I can do that. Like, you're a woman, I can beat that. And so we just have to eliminate that process. But yes, I do have an application, and then I meet with them and we go through it to see if we're a good fit. Because sometimes we're not a good fit, right? Like, you can't work with everybody.
Learning that lesson.
Yeah, I went to
yes, I'm learning that lesson.
Yeah, I went to a Phoenix startup because they do like a lot of conferences for like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So I went to a Phoenix startup week, and there was I believe her name is Kishana, and she's an entrepreneur, I think in the medical field, and she was like, you don't have to take just anybody. You choose the type of clients you want. And she said, you know, if you set up a price and this client doesn't want to pay it, well, that's not the kind of client you want anyway. So don't sweat it, you know. So that was something that, you know, I had to learn, because I'm like one of those, I'm probably like a real like relational, emotional based kind of person, you know. I like to connect, like I see your need and I want to meet your need, and we'll work out finances later, which isn't good entrepreneurship, which isn't good entrepreneurship, but it's because, you know, I have a heart for people and I like to help people, and I like, I have a servant spirit. That's why she's always dragging me into everything. I have a servant spirit or whatever. So I had to learn, like, okay, this is my, you know, my price and stuff like this. And this is what I want. And if, you know, you can't work with that, then you know, I can point you to someone else kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely understand like where you're coming from with that, you know. And I had to, like, especially because a lot of our members that we work with are young. So like, they're like, you know, Naija, how much should I charge this person? So my first thing is, let's start off what you think you're worth. What do you think you're worth? Your time, you know, because this is, you know, I'm like, you need kind of like, this is time away from your family, time you're investing to support this one person, you know, the money you're investing for equipment or whatever you're, you know, you're using, you know, time that is costing you. So how much do you think that's worth? All right, so now let's see how we can budget this out based off of what services you're wanting to provide and everything. So I totally get where you're coming from with that. It was a battle with me in the beginning.
I know when I was watching the live that you and Marcus did, and he was like, you know, no, don't come to me talk about, can I get that hookup? No, you cannot get that hookup. You know, he would be like, can I get that hookup? You know, because, you know, we go way back, or we friends, and I know you from here, or I know you from there, and, you know, I thought we was cool. Can I get that hookup? And when he said that, like, no. And I was like, well, you know, but then I thought about it. You're right, because if you constantly give everybody hookup, you're going to be broke.
Right.
Trying to give everybody a hookup.
But at least let's negotiate. What can you bring to the table? You know, I understand, you know, sometimes some people don't have it and they really, really need something done. Okay, you could be my charity for a second, but what do you have for us to negotiate? We can negotiate. What do you have to bring to the table? So this way, you know, I'm not just out here giving you a free hand.
What's that, the bar trade? Well, what is it that we can work together? Right, partner with, okay, you might not have the, I might have the skill in this, but you might have the skill in that, and I might can use you to help me with this because I'm not skilled in that area.
Yeah, let's bargain here.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that like to do that, and you.
But see, there's such a
get a good bargaining partner. Bargaining partner.
It's such a when people do that, they're telling you a couple of things, right? When they are telling you, oh, you're not worth me paying, right? Like, you're not worth my money, but your knowledge is what I want, right? So you're worth their time and you can give your energy, but they can't give you what they're holding dearest to them, which is their money, right? So they're telling you how they feel about you. They're telling you like, I'm not thinking that highly of you. And in short, like, would they allow you to come to them and say, hey man, or hey woman, I can't pay you, but can you do X, Y, and Z? We know we can't do that. They know they can't do that. And so it's so disrespectful. And I will tell you, Marcus used to give, and give. Like, we have served in our church. We got married on a Saturday and we were in service on a Sunday. Like, you know what I mean? So we both have grown up and still have a servant's heart, and all we do is serve. Like, we serve in multiple capacities. And so it's hard to transition out of that. Yeah. But it's not, you have to think about it. If God gave you these gifts and talents, He is not giving it to you to have a bag with a hole at the bottom, right? So that your
Right,
gifts and
right,
talents are just constantly falling out. No, he's allowing you to have these gifts and talents so that you can not only help the kingdom of God, but that you can help your household. And again,
right.
go back to the kingdom of God and, pay our tithes and our offerings.